Hello student, good morning. Today we are going to learn about chapter 3 form 4. The title is Technique of Measuring the Parameter of Body Health. So what are the technique that we want to use? So you can see this picture, thermometer, stethoscope. So these are the few things that we are going to learn. We are going to learn in this chapter about temperature, thermometer, fever pulse, heart, high blood pressure, and obesity. Okay, and let's move on. And down here, how we want to measure our temperature and what? Okay, so first we go to body temperature, and we know body temperature is normal lah. I mean, we know that temperature is very important for the doctor to check. Let me take my pen. So how we can measure thermometer? How we can measure temperature? So of course we say it's very easy. Of course, we want to measure temperature, we say very easy. Use thermometer. But in this chapter, we are going to learn about 4 types of thermometer, which is clinical thermometer, laboratory thermometer, rectal thermometer, and infrared thermometer. And usually the question will ask something like, which thermometer is the best? No, you cannot ask this question, which thermometer is the best. All thermometer is very good, but they have different function. So we have this one, clinical thermometer. What is the function? The function is measure 35 to 42 Celsius only. So it's more accurate. And it is probably I would say smaller, and we can see have this digital one. And why they don't want to make it the range bigger? So this is the range, 35 to 42. This is the range, and the range is very small. Why the range is very small? So of course, if you want to why the range is 35 to 42. And this one range you will learn in maths lah. For example, or mathematics. So let's say x is bigger than 10, and it is bigger than 5 and smaller than 10. So this is the range. For the thermometer temperature, the range will be x will be smaller than or same with 42, or bigger than 35. So why the range is so small? Because we see laboratory, you can see that the range for laboratory is either it can be 110 Celsius or -10. Why the range of laboratory thermometer, this is laboratory thermometer, and clinical thermometer is different?
不会高于42。
Yes, because the human temperature won't be lesser than 35 or more than 40. It is less likely this thing will happen. Maybe 43 or 34, that is the most temperature, which is we call it abnormal temperature, where the person is going to die. You are going to die. If you have 43, I think the person already died. You have 34, is too cold, because we are called the warm-blooded animal. We are called the warm-blooded animal. Why we call us human animal? Okay, warm-blooded. Another name is what lah? So yeah, okay. So we human. We are called warm-blooded, or a better word lah. The more scientific term for warm-blooded animal is endotherm. So we are considered endotherm. Endotherm usually like for mammals, mammal and I think birds is a endotherm. So we have a specific range of temperature. Okay, so for for Malaysia SPM we use this word, okay, poikilotherm for a range of temperature like frog, and we call this and we also call as the homeotherm. Usually we have a constant internal body temperature where we have a range, and we can see the range is like this, 35, more than 35, lesser than 42. And let's say if I want to put a frog, let's say I put a frog, so let's say the frog range will be let's say maybe 80, let's say lah, I just put here 10. Okay, so I don't want too hot lah, 50, 10. 10 is very cold, you know. 10 means is you are going to die because it's very cold, and 50 is very hot. You see, human more than 42 is like going to die, but the frog can up to 60, so the frog still haven't died. So the frog have a different very huge range because it is poikilothermic, and for human we are called as homeothermic. So you can see here, human is also called as the homeothermic. We have a very consistent internal body temperature. So of course, when we want to measure our temperature, there is you don't need to use so high lah, huh? Because we know the human won't go up so high unless the person is alien. So if your temperature is too high, we call it have fever. You got COVID, fever, because it is very high. And if very low, we call it we call it hypothermia. If I spell it correctly lah, huh? Hypothermia, too cold. But of course we live in Malaysia, we don't usually face this problem because Malaysia is very hot mah. Usually too cold happen when the person fall down into the ice river, and then they need to faster rush to the hospital, or they fall down into the ice ocean, then they need to faster go to ambulance because the person too cold and he's going to die, because your body temperature cannot be lower than 35 and the person is dying because of too cold. So we have hypothermia and we have fever, high fever, and death. That is why when you go to the clinic or hospital, if the temperature is 42, the doctor don't care. The doctor will catch you, the doctor will take cold water, ice water, and pour on you and bath you, which is very painful, but it will save your life because the doctor don't want you to die. So so that is why, let's say the exam asks why the clinical thermometer only have a very small range. We can say because human temperature is around above 35 and 42, and that is a normal human temperature. Of course, you are see what your animal you are talking, and then human is have this one because human is also considered homeothermic, where we have a consistent body temperature. Okay, now we have laboratory thermometer which can measure -10 until 100. And it makes sense because you are doing experiment. So if you are doing experiment, you want to measure it like -10 to 110. So it's an experiment, so it makes sense. -10 is possible because how to make the water -10? Anyone know how to make the water Celsius negative? How to make the water -10? If you put ice and water, it will become 0. How to make it lesser than 0? Maybe -1. Is it possible? Make it -1. Okay, so of course you can make it like -1. -10 is possible lah. You put some salt. If you put some salt, then it will become lower a bit. So you can try this. You just take the ice, then you put some salt, then the ice will become even more cooler. Okay, so that is a laboratory thermometer. From the meaning of laboratory, is a lab. So this is a laboratory lab, very long. You don't want to put that in your mouth because you can, but you don't want to do that because it's very weird. Okay, and it is not that accurate also. Okay, this one is measured up to 0.1, so it's more accurate. Let's move on. This is clinic. Of course, we want to use it to clear. Rectal. What does it mean by rectal? Okay, rectal. So if of course you can find in the dictionary lah. Rectal means from the word rectum, means from the word buttock. The back word is ASSHOLE. Back word. Okay, so this is the rectal thermometer. You use it to put in the rectum. Rectum you can in the body lah. So this is the human, and this is the place where the thing come out, the poop come out. So this is called the rectum, and this thermometer is put in the rectum to get the person temperature. So usually we use this for the baby lah. For the baby, you don't want to say the baby, okay baby, open your mouth, I want to put the thermometer in. No, okay, so you can either use the rectum to measure the temperature, usually for children, or maybe in the ear to measure. And if this is more accurate because this one is into your body, so it is more accurate to get. Infrared, from the word infrared, so sometimes you have infrared. Infrared is the one that you use to control your remote, your TV remote, your aircon remote, and one of it is called infrared. Also this one you can see there's a red light. Oh, got fever. Got no fever. Okay, so this is called infrared. Of course, if you see doctor will use this one. Doctor won't use this one because this one is, I would say, is fast, but it measure only the surface, usually only the surface, because you here, correct or not? So it measures surface, so it's not that accurate.不准, because sometimes you very hot very hot, then you sit under the sun, then the temperature increase, then oh, I got fever, but actually it's not fever, you just need to wait, let the thing cool down, and the temperature will drop. So there are the 4 types of thermometer: clinical thermometer, laboratory thermometer, rectal thermometer, infrared thermometer. What the exam will ask, usually they will ask what is the difference between clinical and laboratory. They give you a situation, at least to use which thermometer, why we want to use rectal thermometer, maybe for children, we want to use for baby. Infrared thermometer, maybe we can use it for screening people before entering the shop, like COVID test, because it is fast and so on. So this one you need to remember. Understand lah. Do you need to memorize? I think no need to memorize lah. If you remember, if you know the word clinic, laboratory, rectal is, you know lah. Rectal from the word rectum. Infrared, you also know this. Infrared is a wave. We got infrared wave, light wave, microwave, X-ray. This infrared is one of them. Okay, no question. Okay, so measuring body temperature. How you want to measure the temperature? If the temperature exceeds 35 Celsius, the temperature should be shaken until the reading is low. So you just shake shake it, make it low a bit. And here, sometimes you can see it's not straight. It is like that. Why is it? Why, let's say the question say, why the thermometer is a king or bended, a king in the thermometer? Your answer should be so that it does not go down quickly after it is removed. Because after you take out, you need to see, but when you see that time it already go down. So this one will slow down the mercury from blowing down. but of course this one is more accurate. This one we can like then you can see the reading which is more accurate. Laboratory thermometer does not have a king, and when thermometer is removed from the body, whether the mouth armpit, the temperature reading will go down quickly, so the reading will be inaccurate. Rectal thermometer usually for infant less than 3 months old, means infant is baby lah. They don't use the word baby. There is a better word for science term that use it. Infant, then we use child, then we go to adolescence. Like you are considered adolescent. So for this one, lesser than around 1 or 2 years, we call it as infant. Okay, so this is how they measure it, the baby temperature. Infrared thermometer can be used without a contact. Aim the forehead around 5 cm and then you tip. Okay, see whether the person have fever or no fever. A normal human temperature is 36.9 Celsius. So this is a normal human temperature. Unless if it's too much or too little, then the person is unhealthy. Okay, why the person is unhealthy? It could be due to infection, bacteria or virus like COVID. COVID, then you got fever, then the temperature will be high. Sometimes this one is exposure to heat stroke, sunburn. You seldom see this unless people are being tortured or people pengsan. Exercise also will increase the heat. So these are the possible reasons. So of course when people test this, if it's hot, I ask him to sit down and rest for a while. Maybe it's due to this one, okay? So he don't have fever, it's just because when he come that time he exercise a bit, so it's a bit hot. So you just let him wait for a while. Okay, when your body temperature is above 37, your body is having a fever. So body temperature also goes below the normal temperature, exposed to extreme cold. This also leads to hair loss. What we learned, we call it hypothermia. Okay, so let's do a few questions about this. State the differences between the clinical thermometer and rectal thermometer. Okay, of course, correct. Okay, so we place it where? Where does we place it? Wait, let me take my pen. For rectal thermometer, we place it at the rectum. Sifat lah, place at the rectum. And for the clinical thermometer, we place it at the mouth or armpit. So that will be the difference. Very good. Use your own word lah. That is the understanding. State 3 factors that can cause temperature to go above reading.
Extreme sunburn, vigorous exercise.
Okay, heat stroke, extreme sunburn, exercise, and anyone infection of bacteria, virus, and so on. So this will cause the temperature to go up. Okay, this part. Question: what do you need to do if your body temperature go above normal reading for more than 3 days? 3 days. So the keyword is 3 days actually. So what should you do? So of course your temperature more than 3 days, you go and visit a doctor. Usually fever, if you got experience fever, usually fever only lasts for 2-3 days and it's normal. I didn't see doctor like for 10 years, 10 or 15, many years I didn't see doctor. Every time I say I just take some fruit and sleep. Because it's normal for 2-3 days to get sick is normal because you are human. Even you got very got human that got no sick, and it's normal due to virus, bacteria, and no need to see doctor actually. If you 2-3 days small thing, ulcer, flu, no need to see doctor lah. Later if you see doctor, they give you eat the medicine. Actually I don't like to eat the medicine I prefer to eat the fruit, vegetable and sleep. rest, then usually 2-3 days, then my body. But after 3 days, I still remember after 3 days there is something wrong with the person. After 3 days is really need help. Like for example, maybe he got cancer, because if you got normal, usually you 3 days you will even diarrhea 1-2 days. More than 3 days of diarrhea, more than 3 days of fever, please immediately see the doctor, because one of the symptoms of, like for example, getting cancer and serious infection, usually more than 3 days. So yeah, so that's why you go and see the doctor. Hopefully everything is good. So okay, so I see you by then later. Thank you and bye bye.